Okay, good afternoon everybody. I'm Neil Barnett. I'm one of the senior product managers for SUSE LINUX Enterprise product management team. And at the back, looking very casual post-lunch, is Mikhail. He's also in my team. So, why we're covering this today? So, there is, in this room actually after this session, SLE 15 Plus, Future of the OS. And there's also been coverage on SLE itself. But the team were talking before SUSECON, and we thought there's been some recent changes, or certainly since we all met last at SUSECON 17, that I thought we'd cover. It's not going to be a long session, but it's going to be informative, and I know you're all full of food, so let's hope I don't bore you too much. So we're going to cover from 11 through to 15, but also we're going to cover SLES for SAP, because that actually has a slight different support model, and therefore the life cycle is slightly different to the base SLE. So, what are we talking about? When we talk about SLE here, we're talking about the entire product family. I won't read them all out. The important thing here is that there is a difference that we made. So in SLE 15, we merged the GO extension into the HA extension. So this means that anybody consuming 15 gets GO as part of their entitlement. If you're using 12 moving forward, make sure you reach out to your account manager or your technical account manager, because you're now going to get GO clustering as a free of charge entitlement. So let's talk about 11. It's very important right now. For no other big reason than end of general support was the 30th of March this year. So I hope there's nobody in that position here, but it's a really important date, and that's why we're calling it out today. So the life cycle, as I mentioned, all deployments should now be under LTSS. And you can see here that Service Pack 4 was March. Even LTSS for Service Pack 3 was actually end of support in January of this year. And if you're running 11 Service Pack 4 with LTSS, you've got some time yet. You've got till March 2020. Do you want to read that a bit more? Upgrade paths. So there are two. You can go from your Service Pack 4 LTSS, the only supported SLE 11 today, straight to Service Pack 4 and 12, which is our current release on the 12 code base, or you can go from Service Pack 4 LTSS right through to 15 GA, which is currently our 15 release. Any questions before we leave 11?
When does support on 12 SP4 expire?
It's coming up. Yeah, I'll show you shortly. Yeah. Okay then, 12. So FCS for Service Pack 4 was December of last year, which means it's normally 6 months after the release of Service Pack 5. And that's currently scheduled for release at the end of this year. You can see here, as a result, Service Pack 3 has an end of general support of June of this year, because that 6-month clock started when we shipped Service Pack 4. For those that don't know what was in Service Pack 4, some key features which is unusual to deliver in such a mature service pack. The NVDIM Apache Passwork, which was asked for by many customers and SAP themselves. But also we took the opportunity to put in as a non-default option the upgrades to things like Python and OpenSSL, because as those who are using 15 will know, they are the default in the newer version. So the life cycle for 12, you can see here that actually the only red flag we have currently is that your LTSS for the GA is end of support in July of this year. But outside of that, all things are good. And to answer your question, Service Pack 4 support should be ending about 6 months after this December, so we're talking June of next year. LTSS will carry you through to 2023. Now, as part of our commitment to give you a 13-year life cycle, 12 doesn't reach its end of life until October 27. Upgrade paths, a little bit more complicated here, more options. So one can go from LTSS of the GA to Service Pack 4, but you have to go through either Service Pack 2 or Service Pack 3. Same for Service Pack 1, because we only support skipping one service pack. But if you're on Service Pack 2 LTSS, you can jump straight to 4, and of course 3 will allow you to go to 4. Now we have a schedule for Service Pack 5, which you can see we're targeting an FCS of December of this year. That's why Mikhail's here. If you have any questions on Service Pack 5, we can address them at the end. But this is our high-level plan. Release candidates around the September timeframe. Any questions on 12? I'm aware I'm going very quickly, but like you, I'm also full of food. Yes?
So is your service pack releases every 6 months?
It's
6 months?
No, it's about a year. Yeah. So Service Pack 3 was around December the year before, and then we had Service Pack 4 last December, and Service Pack 5 with this December, and of course they get the 6-month grace on that Service Pack. So essentially you're looking general support about 18 months from the FCS of any Service Pack. 15. So this was FCS in July last year. Quite a lot of changes. Unified Installer being one of them, allowing us to address this multimodal Mode 1, Mode 2 world. I've mentioned already that we merged the HA and Geo extensions into one single entitlement and actually one code block. And we also took the SDK and merged that into the development module. And we've mentioned already that we give a 6-month grace at the end of, when we ship at the next service pack. So we're looking at around early January of next year, because we're planning to ship Service Pack 1 in July of 2019. Difference between 15 and 12, outside of the 10 years plus 3 years extended support, is we are yet to confirm the number of service packs that we'll have in 15. For those that have been following, we had 4 in 11, 5 in 12, probably 5 in 15, but that's again to be confirmed. With the full 13 years, you're going to get support on your 15 environments through to December 2031. Upgrade here. So we're supporting SP4 LTSS right through to 15 GA. If you're on the GA or Service Pack 1 of 12 LTSS, you're going to have to hop through Service Pack 2 or 3, as you do on 12 anyway, but that will allow you to go straight to 15 GA. And if you're on Service Pack 3 of LTSS or Service Pack 3 without LTSS for the next 6 weeks, you can go straight to 15. And if you're on Service Pack 4, you can also go straight to 15. These slides will be available. We are quite well into the Service Pack 1 schedule so far, so it's worth noting that release candidates were made available in February. I apologise that I've got 2 X's there on that second release candidate. The important date here is that you're going to get a GM in July, and that should say July for FCS as well, so again, apologies for the typo. That's Service Pack 1. Last one, and it's again worth calling out, SUSE LINUX Enterprise for SAP, based on SLE with extension HA included in entitlement. Slightly different. So here we don't require LTSS. We actually get the extended Service Pack overlap support as part of the entitlement anyway. And that carries on right through till Service Pack 5, and then you do have the option to extend the life of that with LTSS at the end. 15, exactly the same. Again, calling out the fact that we don't know how many service packs will be in the 15 release. But again, EPOS as part of every service pack will give you the additional 3 years on top of the normal 18 months. And then again, you can take LTSS at the end of Service Pack 5 for the additional 3 years. Upgrade paths for SAP, a bit more interesting. So again, Service Pack 4 of 11 LTSS right through to Service Pack 4 of 12, if you so wish. You can do the same straight to 15 GA, SP4 of 12 to 15 GA also. But the 2 extra ones here is you can take a normal SLES install and migrate to a SLES for SAP install, and you can go from Leap to SLES for SAP as well. I promised it'd be quick. Any questions? Was that informative? Anybody concerned about the red letter date I gave at the beginning for 11? No? Mikhail, any comments? Englishman went too fast? Nope? Okay, that's it. Lifecyle. Thank you very much. Don't clap. Don't clap.